Welcome to I Partied with Your Mama, your new favorite podcast. Here's your host, Jessie Daly. And don't forget to follow and subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts. You don't want to miss this shit.
And we're back. Well, I'm back. If you're listening to the show, you may have noticed that last week's episode was, well, it wasn't there. And I guess that's the cool and shitty thing about working for free. If you don't wanna, you don't have to. But I do want to. I do. I don't think I've hit my stride. Like, this picture in my head for what this thing is hasn't totally been realized yet. Like, I know I'm close. So this might be one of those, it's the journey, not the destination, or whatever. But fuck it, I'm going to keep going. Last week was also my son's 13th birthday. And I don't know, something about birthdays now, they're just so heavy for me. But he's a kid and he had a great time. I probably just exhausted myself from running to the bathroom to cry. I'm kidding, kind of. Anyway, this is the 6th episode of I Partied with Your Mama. I can't tell if that seems like a lot or if I'm like, seriously, all this work and I've only got 6? But whatever, I'm on this weird vision quest. I'm way too curious of a person to just like let it die and not figure it out. I'm wired that way. So yeah, episode 6. I am so honored to not only have these ladies as guests on my show, but as friends in this life. Please enjoy part 1 of my chat with Willie's daughters, Amy and Paula, and an extra special guest, Mom, aka Connie fucking Nelson.
Tips and pay your fees. Oh, I'm your man. You don't need to worry about anything, 'cause yes, I can. I do anything and everything for you. Tell me where, but no need to rush. I'm in no hurry anywhere, from Hawaii to the coast of Mexico. You don't have to go, we could go anytime. It's just around the corner, a million miles away. But I promise you we'll go on this vacation someday.
Well, I'm super glad to have both of you. This is like Christmas.
Yes.
It's amazing.
Glad to be here.
Yeah, me too. It's great to see you.
It's good to see you too. Paula and I were talking, it might be as long as her wedding reception the last time I saw her.
Oh, wow.
I know I've seen you since then, but
Wow.
I can't remember the last time I've seen you.
Hey, speaking of Paula's wedding reception, were you among the few or many that got to see my mom dance on the bar?
I believe so.
She got up on the bar at Pooties and we're dancing.
Yes. I'm just thinking, like, did I do that too? No, I didn't.
Probably.
I was out in the back parking lot there at Pooties, partaking in the ceremonial burning of the spear, and with Al Green, of course. And
oh, did you say spear? I thought I heard sphere.
Oh, spear. The spear. and the Al Green spear. And someone said, Paula, you got to come in here. Your mom is standing and dancing on the bar right now. So I ran in, and sure enough, she was.
You're like, there she is in all her glory.
Yeah.
And what was the dance she was doing? Because you said you mimed it for me because I missed it.
It was the same dance mom always does. It's the
The 2-finger shuffle.
kind of like the gopher on Caddyshack.
Yeah, exactly. What song was playing, or did it like burn out your brain with trauma?
Well, it was the Super Suckers, so they were all great songs. Everybody was running in.
right.
Yeah.
That's right. They played.
Yeah, they played my reception.
That was the funnest party. I remember Quattro thought you were Cinderella.
That's right, at the wedding, and you told me later that he was like, Mom, is that Cinderella? As I was walking down the...
He was mesmerized. I love those photos.
Those are the two best things about the entire marriage, is Quattro thinking that I was Cinderella, and Eddie and the boys playing the reception.
Oh, I thought you were going to say, and your mom dancing on the bar.
Okay, so there's three. There was three good things, best things.
I have a fantasy of going into Pooties and getting kicked out, and as they're dragging me out, saying, "My mama danced on this bar.
You can't kick me out."
Can't kick me out. I was conceived on this dance floor."
Pootie might be my real dad.
Yeah. You never know. We were born in the 70s. Well, close to the 70s. You were born. So, like, you never know who your parents are when you're born in that era, really.
It's true.
Mm-mm.
I know. I
Gossip.
still have fantasies that I'll find out who my dad is. It's going to be amazing.
When were you born? What's your year?
76.
Oh, you're okay. Yeah.
What
Yeah.
month?
Behind.
July.
Oh, sorry. Are you a Cancer like Amy?
Yep. July
Okay.
17th.
Nice. Nice.
Yeah.
I am a Scorpio, October 27th.
I don't know anything about the signs. I should.
I
My
don't either. I
kids-
just know mine selfishly.
My kids talk about it. They're like, I'm a Virgo. What's this? I'm like, I don't know. I'm like, well, I don't get magazines delivered to the house anymore. I can't read your horoscope. All right. So let's get into it. Let's talk about your mama. Well, first, I want to say that I love your mom so much.
She loves you too.
She was one of the first women that sort of welcomed me into like motherhood, because I met her right after I met Eddie, and then we had a baby right after that. And she didn't know me from, before. She just knew me as who I was right then. And it felt really cool to, like, when you grow up with people, they just see you as that like naughty 15-year-old or whatever. But once you're in your 20s, you just want to be seen as something new because you're experiencing something new. And she totally did that for me. So, yeah, she was so amazing. And she came to Quattro's first birthday. The early 2000s, man, those were some good times.
You're such a beautiful punk rock mom.
Aw.
Yeah.
Still are today.
You still are. You still are a beautiful punk rock mom, but like you were like pregnant and like wild hair, and like it was just really inspiring and beautiful vision of motherhood.
Yeah, it was so fun to not know what I was doing. I was so young. Oh my God. I see Quattro, he's 24. So like when I was 24, I had him. I cannot imagine him having a child. And I'm like, shit, that was you. Like, what was I doing? But he turned out okay.
Her mom has always been like anyone who meets her, she has that ability to make everybody feel special, and she means it. It's not like she's it's not something she tells everybody, but when she has a feeling with somebody that connects, and everybody loves our mom. She's just
Yeah, she doesn't let go of people.
Right. Yeah, she has such a unique energy that you can't fake that sort of thing.
I was over at mom's earlier, and there was a couple of things I was asking her, and then I was telling Amy some of the stories, and one of my favorite ones is We were living in San Diego off of Del Mar Heights, and I was off the 101, and she was kind of up on the hill on Del Mar Heights Road, and we were on the 5, and it was just when those Miami Vice cell phones came out. They were huge, they were the really big ones that you set on the charger. And so she's on this giant phone, and I'm in the passenger seat, and we were exiting off of the 5 onto Del Mar Heights, and she was on her giant Miami Vice phone, and she accidentally cut this guy off. And so we take the exit, and then we're stopped at a light. Mom is completely oblivious that she has cut this person off. And so when we're stopped at the light, the guy pulls up next to her and does this roll down your window thing. And so she did. And he said, "Hey, you just cut me off back there." And she said, "Are you a cop?" And he said, "No." And she said, "Then go fuck yourself," and rolled up her window. I was like, "Yeah, Mom."
He got the Connie drive-by blues.
He had a Ferrari, just like the Magnum one, back in Evergreen, Colorado, before we moved to San Diego. And
like Christy Brinkley in Vacation.
yeah, that Ferrari. And she put a bumper sticker on the back that said, "If you don't like my driving, dial 1-800-EAT-SHIT."
Was that on the back of the Ferrari? I remember that on the back of Grandpa's car, right? Or no, his was Honk If You Love Willie Nelson.
His was Honk If You Love Willie Nelson, and he was such a bad driver anyway that people always honked at him. So he was always ready with the finger. Then when people would honk at him, he'd give him the finger and get out of his car with his fist. And they were like, "But your bumper sticker says Honk If You Love Willie Nelson." Yeah, he was a terrible driver too. But no, Mom put it on her Ferrari. 1-800-EAT-SHIT if you don't like
That's
my.
a great bumper
That's great.
sticker. Certainly, we have to find a way to get one of those.
But still, I kept saying, "Mom, you don't put a bumper sticker on a Ferrari."
That's true. And then our dog chewed the bumper off anyways, so the point was moot.
Yeah, we had 2 St. Bernards.
Bentley, and I think it was Bentley, the St. Bernard, she came out and just noticed him, she laying there, and it like the bumper was just right there at his like at mouth level, and he was just gnawing and chewing. He didn't chew off the bumper, he just made it look unsightly.
He's just chewing the bumper.
Yeah, just gnawing a little bit.
It was a giant chew toy for him.
Which was great because I fucking hated that car.
I did too. It was so embarrassing. I was like, "Please don't take
You
me."
can't just ride in that one of those without like it being a production. And when you're in junior high, the last thing you want is a fucking production.
Exactly. You're like, I need to blend in here.
Yeah, don't fucking, I just got a fucking perm and layers. And now you're going to put me in this thing where everyone's going to look.
Yeah. Usually if I had to have her take me somewhere, I would ask her to drop me off around the block. Don't
Oh my
I don't
God,
want to
that's
be in this
funny.
car. And when I get out of it.
I would refuse to let her take me to school in it, but then she would pick me up with it.
Mm-hmm.
And we'd be sitting at my last period, and the whole class would hear, and everyone would start whispering, and it was awful.
Where did you guys go to school?
Well, those experiences were in Texas when we moved to Texas. Because I think she bought the car also because like the marriage was falling apart and Dad had been cheating on her and shit. So I think it was sort of like a revenge car, and like I'm gonna be fucking Christy Brinkley from Vacation, and like I'm a hot blonde and I'm gonna get this fucking Ferrari. And
that was in Evergreen, Colorado. That was just outside of Denver when we lived in Evergreen. That's when she got that car. And then we moved, let's see, it was 86 and 87 because I graduated in 87. So we moved to Austin in 86 when I was a sophomore. When I was a junior. And so
to save Mom and Dad's marriage.
To save their marriage. Obviously.
Oh, that's what the move was for?
Yeah.
There's always a move in there to save a marriage.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But yeah, so then she had the Ferrari, and so she had it in Evergreen, Colorado, and then in Austin, Texas, which is worse because I went to Westlake High School, which was a huge difference between Idaho Springs, which was Idaho Springs is a small mining town that's on the way through the right before the Eisenhower Tunnel, going up to like Winter Park and Breckenridge, and Keystone was the first ski resort. After that is Keystone. Anyway, so then we moved to Westlake, which is 16-year-olds were driving Ferraris at
Ooh,
that school, to give you an idea.
quite a leap.
Quite a leap. So it
Different
was,
world.
we thought it was hard to blend in Idaho Springs. And then we got to Westlake, and it was like,
It was still hard to blend in.
oh, even worse because
Yeah.
it was, I don't know.
Oh, because of the whole Willie town thing. Everybody really gave a shit.
Yeah.
In Colorado, people didn't give a shit that much. And in Texas, people really fucking gave a shit about who Dad was and had all the assumptions.
I would think your ages, that would be extra hard.
It was awful. It was
Because
terrible.
when you're really little, like you could be oblivious, but in your teens.
Oh, yeah. I went to rehab when I was 17. Because
yeah.
You
I
were
was
trying
like-
to stay oblivious.
Yeah. on a daily basis. But yeah, so that's when I moved to San Diego, is because I went to rehab there. And then I became a counselor for 4 years in San Diego, and lived there for many, many years. And then eventually moved back here to Austin. 92 is when I moved back here. And I've been here ever since.
We would trade places back from San Diego and Austin. We would flip back and forth for a while.
Yeah, she would stay at my house and I would stay at her place. And
It's like the best of both worlds.
right?
It was. Yeah.
I was there for 15 years. I loved San Diego. I lived in Escondido. That's where I first went to rehab. I lived in Escondido and Solana Beach, Encinitas, and Carlsbad were the areas that I lived.
I remember your mom lived in Fallbrook
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
when I first met her.
Yep. And she had a little like guest house, and I stayed in Fallbrook, and Amy moved into my house in Austin, or outside of Austin.
Oh,
kind of
that's right.
That's when we did a swap.
It was one of those times.
Yeah. When did your mom move back to Texas? Do you remember when she left this area?
She came back to be close to you because I was in Tennessee.
Yeah, Amy moved to Tennessee.
So you came back to Texas first, and then Mom came back. Mom moved from Fallbrook.
To Wimberley.
Yeah, to be closer to you.
Yeah. And then she moved to Austin, and then just recently, 3 years ago, now she lives next door to me on my property, so I can keep an eye on her. Wild woman. We all have this 360 app, for your phone that has tracking on your phone. And I got an alert the other day that said, Connie Nelson has just completed a risky drive, and it had a yellow caution triangle. It was going 89 miles an hour.
She's cutting someone off.
And
Tapping on her
right.
cell phone.
And so I waited till she got home safely, but I was like 89 miles an hour. So when she got home, I said, Mom, was there an emergency? Why? I got an alert on my phone that you were going 89 miles an hour. And she said, oh no, one of my shows was coming on. I didn't want to miss it.
You are listening to my mom on your new favorite podcast. Don't forget to subscribe to I Partied with Your Mama.
I was going to say that when you and I talked last night, and you were telling me about the podcast with Jessica, and you're like, I don't know what stories, what can I think of? And I was like, well, there's that time with her and Jesse Coulter. And so when I went over to Mom's today, I got the full story, because I just remembered bits and pieces. It was so long ago. I thought it was just that they were at a gig together. Her and, of course, Waylon and Dad were playing together, and Mom and Jesse were good friends. And she was like, oh, no, it wasn't a gig. It was the night before the White House lunch at the White House with Carter and Rosalind and the whole deal. And she said, I don't know where your dad and Waylon were that night, but they were gone. And Jesse and I just were out drinking. And she said, Jesse's never really been a big drinker, but she was that night. And so her and mom got shit-faced that night. Mom ended up holding Jessie's hair. They were in a limo wherever they went that night before the luncheon. And mom said that Jessie was so sick she had to like lean out of the limo, and mom was holding her hair. And then they went back to the hotel, and they both like were passed out on the hotel bed, so drunk. And all of a sudden she said, mom today was saying that someone was banging on the door. And Jessie said, I wonder who that could be. And it was Waylon. And he was super pissed because he couldn't find Jessie. Like he and dad had been missing the entire night, but all of a sudden he was pissed. Where is Jessie? And she said that the next day they had to go to the White House for a luncheon. And her and mom were so sick that they couldn't eat. They could barely, she said it was just embarrassing. It was obvious that they are both really, really hungover. And she said Waylon never showed up. He never did show up in the first place to the luncheon. But that's a mom and Jessie story.
What about the story where they were at the show with our dad, with Waylon and dad, and they decided, like, all of a sudden it was after the show and they couldn't find them, and they were like, they left us. How could they leave us? And then they were like, well, and then they looked outside and the limo was there, and they were like, well, at least they left us a car. So they took the car back to the hotel, and it turned out that they were doing press and that they just stole the limo and left them without a ride.
So
Lots
yeah,
of
that
limos. It was the 80s, right?
Yeah, exactly.
With the 80s hair and the whole thing. There was a lot of those. And
I could just see her sweating out her alcohol at the White House lunch, just like
the president
would rather be anywhere but here.
And of course, if it's something that I was like, well, what were you drinking? And she said, I don't know, anything and everything. So of course, sweating out your alcohol hangover means everybody can smell it.
Yes.
Everybody knows.
Your secret is not safe.
Good thing there was Secret Service all around.
Yeah. Hey, this is Jessie, the host of your new favorite podcast, I Partied with Your Mama. I wanted to thank you for listening and remind you to submit a story about yourself or your own mama. Go to my website, ipartiedwithyourmama.com, and send me your stories.
Can you hear us?
Hello?
Oh.
Is that Connie?
Can you hear?
Hey, Jessica. Oh my God.
Oh my God, it's you, my other mother. I miss you so much.
I miss you so much. I can go back. I can remember like it was yesterday, us being together. I'm serious.
Me too. Oh, I love that.
So cute.
Everybody's good here, except they're getting too big to cuddle.
Oh, well, look what happened to mine. They exploded, literally.
Literally.
Amy especially.
We were just talking about your middle finger mishap on Life magazine.
Oh, yeah, there was that too. Yeah, there was
like, oh, yeah, that.
Oh yeah, by the way, who was the people? What? How did it go down when you walked up to the guys and said, do you guys like to?
What did you say to Dan and Jeff?
Dan Mangan.
Yeah.
Well, Kathy Guthrie's the first one that she dared me.
Yeah.
And it was during sound check, one of Arlo's shows. And Kathy said, see those guys? There was like 6 guys. She said, see those guys? And I said, yeah. And there was nobody else. They were just sitting about 5 rows, down and watching the sound check. And Kathy said, see the one there on the end on the left? And I said, yeah. She said, I double dare you to walk up to him, sit down and say, do you like to fuck?